Ass and make movies about vampires doing the same shit that they do. But see, the reason the earth is like that is because when you come to earth, you get to be all the things that is a manifestation of earth. I mean, all on a tree, a rock, a leaf on a tree, all of them. If you keep returning here. But you could come here, you could be so wise, you could come here because you have experiences from past lives, where you could come here and figure it out, say, hey, I know this place is pleasant. They give you this body to trick you. It's a trick. They only give you this body to make you desire stuff here. That way you'll never be able to leave here. You'll be stuck here. You'll always keep coming back because you always want to return to bodies, to use those bodies to have impressions answered and have the privilege of feeling the desires that you can only achieve those feelings through encapsulating in a body again. This book ain't gonna tell you that. This book tells you that you can't come back here to earth. This book is gonna tell you that once you die, you either go to heaven or you go to hell. And it's gonna tell you that loving, caring, kind Jesus and his father, the evil, I ain't say evil, because I'll get struck down right now for saying that. God don't play. I better not call him evil, or I'm sure I'll die. But anyway, God, the real nice white guy on the cloud that had a bad day because he's frowning, but I'm sure he's not looking mean like that all the time. Him and his nice son, Jesus, decided that, well, I'll give these guys 80, 90 years. Well, if they have a good diet. At top of age, maybe 65, 75 years, you do good. Check out about 75. If you do good. And that's enough time. Because in that 75 years, somewhere they should have been wise enough to figure out Jesus. And if they get Jesus, good. But if they don't get Jesus, then they going to hell. So you got to ask yourself, now is that fair? 75 years. That was very generous. Now watch. You gonna throw me out here with hormones inside of me to make me want to screw every short dress wearing little hussy I see out there, but nope, that's fornicating. Then you got every drug that a person could think of, easily accessible. Nope, don't do drugs, that'll make you go to hell too. Then you got poverty everywhere. Right? And nope, they're not still. So all this stuff that you up against, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. In 75 years, you gotta combat all that stuff. Don't make a mistake. Get Jesus. Get the Holy Ghost. And then die without making a mistake. Because one mistake, you could go to hell. Then they tell you only 122,000 people can go. Then they also tell you that heaven and hell will pass away. I'm saying to myself, this is a whole lot of contradiction, because if heaven and hell is going to pass away, what if I get to heaven after I've been good all my life, which is going to be hard as hell to do, and then it ain't there? Or, why should I worry about hell when I get to hell, it ain't there? And then, why should I trust in Jesus when he died for my sins? Which I don't believe that, because I don't think anybody could die for another person's sins or another person's crime. Because if that was the case, you could do something wrong and get somebody else to go to jail for you. And you can't really set them up and lie. But just because that went on doesn't mean that the universe is not still going to make you be responsible for what you did. And just because Jesus did die and then double cross everybody and get up from the grave and laugh like suckers, I knew I was God. I knew I wasn't going to stay dead forever. I fooled y'all. And what kind of shit is that? I'm just saying. If I come to you and give you a deal and say, yeah, I'm going to die for you, and you don't know that I'm immortal You think it's all over when I die? You run around happy that you made a deal with me that I'm gonna die to cover something that you don't have to die for? You can do whatever you want, and then you don't have to die? And then you see me walking around. You'll be like, hold on, what kind of shit? You probably come up to me and say, yo, wait a minute. Man, you had a deal. And you say, how say? Well, I did, Dad. But you ain't dead now. That's exactly what you had a right to say to me. You cheated me. I said, I didn't cheat you. I didn't say I was going to stay dead. And you can say to me, yeah. Because if you know, you told me that it ain't a big deal for you to die because you can just come back. I would have went for it. Because the fact that you don't stay dead means that somebody got cheated. Now, I hate to be the one to point that out. But it sounded to me like somebody got swindled. Probably the people that didn't get prepared for this book while they was here, and ain't going to have no information that's going to help them when they go where they going on the other side either. This book just don't get up to you. If it did, the earth wouldn't have foolishness on it. Like men saying that they are the fathers of all life on earth, or that black people never gave nothing to the world, when we have pyramids all over the planet that everybody can open their eyes and see. That's a lie. Even Hormacket, that you guys call the Sphinx, is this undoubtedly face of a black man and a black woman. They designed that together so it could be both. That's what most black people are. We are people that are more spiritual than body. And see, the way that works is that the same spirit that animates a woman is the same spirit that animates a man. Now, the characteristic about the bodies that they get encapsulated in is based on ego. It is. I don't care what no one say. Because it's the genetics that's inside of the mechanism of developing the fetus that tells the molecules that they're supposed to be male or female. But the problem is that these molecules have been going through so many over and over and over that sometimes they don't know where the hell they are. And since spirit is the same spirit that animates both man and woman, you will see women qualities in man and woman. You'll have to see a woman that's a little masculine but soft and feminine, and you'll see a man that's hard but at the same time a little soft and a little woo-woo-woo like that with the black race. But see, the Europeans, by not having melanin, they not as close in contact constantly with universal energy like we are, because we receive that through our melanin. And so we're more spiritual people. That's the reason why when you see people that's not quick to be utilizing all the resources of the earth because they know that the earth lives, don't call them primitive and savages. And if they're naked because they know that the sunlight is a source of energy, so they want the sunlight to touch as much of their body as possible. And plus they're living in a region where it's really hot anyway, unlike some of us who might have lived in a place where you should have put on a lot of clothes. That ain't right for you to come to someone else's land, ridicule them because of their differences, write this book, perpetuate propagandas to make them be undesirables around the planet, and then get them themselves to hate themselves and get other people to join up with the self-haters, create a new army of people. Arabs is what they were in the beginning. Still same thing, mulattoes, mixed people, Latinos, black, whites. Been a white man too forever. Even today in his army he got right now, Latinos and blacks. Same thing. Had it in Rome too, Latinos, blacks, because it was the Italians then. The Italians to this day hate the fact that everybody tell them, you know, you're a nigga anyway. Because it's true, the black man was up in Rome, in Portugal, Spain, the Moors, and having sex with all those white ladies, getting pregnant. So Nazi Germany is when Hitler came through and murdered all those mulatto people. They lied and said They were murdering Jews. They weren't. They was murdering Semites. Jews ain't Semites. When did they become Semites? Show me where they become. The only place they can show you where they became Semites is in this Bible. When they tell you that Abraham screwed that slave. I was Haggard, I think the name was. Now, watch this. First of all, Abraham first claimed that he was a slave. They claimed they was the slaves. And then all of a sudden, you a slave, you come into a land of these pharaohs with a 100-year-old wife that's so beautiful. The pharaohs, the man in the land of Kemet, with all these fine-ass young black women running around, gotta have this old white lady. Gotta have her so much that he gotta lie and say you my sister so I don't get killed. They'll surely kill me so they can have you. See, and then later on through history, the only thing you could report about black men is that we want to rape white women, gotta rape white women. You see? All that shit sprung from here. All from here. And it was a trick of the Jews. I ain't lying to you, and they ain't even original Jews, they imposter Jews, because the real Hebrews, black people too. See, it's sad when everything about a person gets stolen from them and claimed by the person that sets up a campaign to make everybody on the earth hate them and kill them. That's really sad. Especially when it gets so deep-rooted in everybody that the earth itself starts to detest everybody and say, well, you know what? I've had it. I've had it. That's where we at. I wanted to point out to you guys that this right here, that you think is a cross, it's not a cross. See? If it was a cross, the dimensions will be equal. They're not. They're not equal. The cross should be right middle, right middle. This one is top. There's about 25% up here and 75% down there. Again, that's pedophilia. Small fellas, these big fellas. Did y'all see that? Let me do it again. That small fella's on top. See, can you see it? The little piece right there. And that's the big one. There's no circle for the woman. There should be there. Because there she is right there. Now, if you eradicate the natural things on the earth, like the original book that tells you the story of how Asar was murdered by his evil brother Set, same creation story. And then his wife, Set, which was also his sister, shows you that there's no such thing as incest, because they sure didn't have a problem with it in England when everybody was doing the royal booty-wooty to keep all the money in the family. But then anybody else on the earth do it, all of a sudden it's incest. When we all know that we are one family anyway. Everybody came from the same seeds. So you can't have sex with no woman on this earth without having sex with your mother or your sister or your daughter. They tell you the truth about it. But it's taboo to do it with your immediate family. That's totally disrespectful. Because it screws up things as far as what a society will be.